before the fight. On today's episode, we're talking Justis Huni versus Jack Maris, Jacob NG versus Blake Minto, Waylon Law and Frosty, the trilogy. So much happening. We've got Third Man's Thoughts with Phil Austin, what you can and can't get away with from a referee's point of view. And also, we have an exclusive interview with Shane Mosley Jr. The Sugar Man tells us who's on his Australian radar and what's happening next in Nevada. But first, let's get started with my co-host, Shotgun Shannon O'Connell. Shotgun, how are you?
I'm good. How good's this? See you, Joel.
Let's get right into it. The biggest news in Australian boxing at the moment, George Kambosos.
Yeah, how good was that purse bid? Holy crap, $6 million with Triller, who just came on the scene with the Roy Jones-Tyson fight. What I want to know is what are the percentages? Because I know one of my fights went to purse bid and I think it was 60-40.
In this one we have heard it's 65-35, obviously to Lopez being the belt holder. He gets 3,018,000, something like that, and George is going to be getting 2 million something. So
wow. There's
a couple of different figures being thrown around. A personal message sent from King Ryan G, Ryan Garcia, wishing George all the best.
George, me, Ryan here, send all my love to you. Congratulations, man, for that amazing, historic moment when you won the first bid.
This is starting to get some momentum.
Like, I really believe that George will, come away with the upset here as well.
But the interesting thing about this is the percentages that were involved in the competitors with the purse bids.
Yeah, so Matchroom came in at 3,500,000 and Top Rank came in at 2,300,000. So that's a big jump for $6 million.
We're going to be paying close attention to the developments of this fight as it goes on and wishing George Kambosos all the best as he moves through camp. We have a new segment on the show, Third Man's Thoughts, an educational piece that we filmed with ANBF's Phil Austin, where you get to learn exactly what you can and can't get away with as a fighter and what's expected from the referee.
I've given you both your instructions in the dressing room. I'm just going to tell you again. Obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times. Touch them up, back you go, and best of luck at the bell. On today's episode, we're going to run through the misconceptions of holding. Okay, and stop boxing. So hold there. Okay, Floyd has actually committed one of the most basic errors a young fighter can do, and that's allow himself to be held. He's fallen into the clinch and allowed himself to be held. What he should have done when his hands were free and when Faris was trying to hold him was to actually punch on the inside. Every referee I know going will allow you to work on the inside. What you've done is taken an advantage that you may have had and given the advantage to your opponent by allowing him to do exactly what he wanted. And stop boxing. That's exactly what Floyd should have done, and that's keep his hands free and working, and therefore negate Faris's advantage.
From there, we move to Justis Huni and the information that we've had that he's got an opponent.
Yeah, Jack Maris. That's exciting. Justis has got another opponent so quickly. I'm sure it'll still be a one-sided fight, but I'm sure it'll be a good one.
It's exciting for this young heavyweight to be back on the scene and getting a fight. Jack Maris has had 2 previous fights. His last fight, February 20, against Clarence Tillman, a bit of a journeyman, 11 wins, 28 losses. But this is just good to keep Justis moving before the Olympics.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's, I think I said last week as well, it's not that far from the Olympics. So I guess, all these rounds, it's just preparing him.
And obviously he gets more conditioned with media, being under the lights, but it'd be safe to say we're hoping for a big performance from him.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see it going the distance yet again. To be honest, I can't see many Australians going the distance with him. Yeah, that fight's April 10 on the Tasman Fighters card at the Gold Coast Convention Centre.
It's looking like it's going to be a great card. Obviously, Andrew Hunt and Benny Kite, Chris George and Benny Marnie. It's shaping up to be a great card. Coming up and fighting this weekend, Liam Paro. Exciting to see him back on the scene against Terry Zamanis.
Yeah, that'll be another exciting fight at Edens Hill Hotel by Ace Boxing Promotions. They've got another good card on there as well.
Liam Paro, 19 wins, 12 via KO, defending his IBF international title. Exciting for the Southpaw to be getting up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry hasn't been knocked out, I believe. This might be the first time. Liam's just too sharp. His punches are just very on target. he's young, he's hungry, he's been out of the ring for a while, and I just can't see this fight going the distance.
Yeah, so that's March 5th at Eaton's Hill under Ace Boxing Promotions. Terry Zamanis, 24-4-3. It seems like it's going to be a great fight and really exciting to see Liam Paro back under the lights.
Yeah, for sure.
Also on that card, we have the trilogy, Justin Frost, Waylon Law. Your predictions for this fight?
I love Waylon Law. I always have. Like, you know, he's sort of more old school back from when I first started. But I just believe that each time they fight, it's going to get a little bit further apart, and Justin Frost will win.
It's going to be a great fight, always is, and the trilogy. It's gathered a lot of hype, a great feather in the Ace Boxing Promotions card.
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching Waylon Law fight. He's the amount of times I've seen him, and it's like he's knocked out on his feet, clenches his teeth, and just goes again. And that's what I love about boxing. But yeah, I just can't see him getting that far this time.
We're definitely going to be there before the fight. Will be at Eaton's Hill, a great venue on March 5th. So tune in on Epicenter TV.
It is time for the Tolj tapes. Let's talk Canelo, Yildirim. What happened, and then what happened next?
Somehow that was his WBC mandatory title fight, even though it was coming off a loss, but welcome to modern day boxing. But long story short, Canelo took him out in 3 rounds and then told some of those Jake Paul fans who were in his way to F off. And next up is Billy Joe Saunders. That's going to be on the 8th of May. That's for the WBO, WBA, WBC, Ring Magazine super middleweight titles. So the only thing left is IBF, and that's Caleb Plant from PBC.
Which will be next on the list, you'd imagine.
Yeah, that's right. Then that's the cleans out the whole division.
Billy Joe Saunders, 8th of May. Talk to us about that fight.
Is he going to stop Canelo? No. Is he going to beat Canelo on points? Not a chance in this world.
Now, purse bids are in. Triller have come to the party. Teofimo gets $3,900,000. We're hearing George gets $2,300,000 or something like that. What have you heard? What can you clear the air with?
I think it's 6.1 something, and that's in US figures. Top Rank get, I think, 780,000 from that themselves, being Teofimo's promoter. George, mate, congratulations. Anytime an Aussie gets such a big payday, mate, couldn't be happier. Everyone works so hard in this industry, and especially in this territory. So when people get those kind of figures, mate, hats off to them and congratulations.
I personally love when boxers make money, so I'm on your side. You go do this shit. You go win. Now, you got the money. You should not have no pressure now. Go get that W. Let's go.
Francis Tszyu has beaten Kazim and has been announced this morning to be Liam Wilson's next opponent.
Francis was wrapped. He's always looking for a challenge, and mate, he's not into soft fights. He turned pro at 32 years of age. He'll fight anyone.
By all accounts, with media and No Limit and everything behind this is going to be a cracking fight.
Liam Wilson's a great talent. He's very young, so he's got time on his side. Like I said, with Francis, he's 36 now. So, mate, he's just gone straight into the deep end. But he's managing to swim every time.
Tony Tolj, another amazing episode of the Tolj tapes on Before the Fight, mate. Just keeps getting better.
It does, mate. Just looking forward to next week and getting better and better.
Also coming out of Ace Boxing Promotions, Jacob NG fighting Blake Minto on March 27th. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, at Eaton's Hill. Obviously the highlight of the Flamingo is the beginning, which is always the dance contest that happens. Very entertaining fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that he's so long, he's got so much skill, but he loves to fight, and I love watching that. So,
well, he's been knocked down in the last 3 of his fights, but always comes back with a knockout himself.
Yeah, for sure, and it's so exciting.
Jacob NG, very exciting with 14 wins, 11 by the way of knockout. He has a 78% knockout record and is number 2 in the lightweight division.
And we've got Blake Minto, 13-1, ranked number 8 in the super lightweight division. So yeah, it'll be a good fight.
Always a great fight, and love to see the Flamingo get out there and do his thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting stuff coming out of Ace Boxing Promotions, doing a great job.
Yeah, so I've had one of my boys from my gym, Aaron, has been doing some rounds with Mundine. A lot of people have been asking me how he's going, and you know, to be honest, I believe Choc, he looks so fit, so strong. He's so fast. He's probably the fittest that I've seen him in a long time. When I got there the other day, Ethan Law was there. They did 5 rounds together, and holy crap, they were incredible rounds. Like I to start off with, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. Is Ethan going to come out sort of, you know, with a little bit too much respect? But nah, Ethan was trying to kill him. They were trying to kill each other. And they did 5 solid rounds before my boy got in and finished the rounds, and it was unreal to watch.
That's really good information coming out, because we've obviously got the Mundine's Rafa fight coming up at Bendigo, along with your fight. And Ethan Law, the stallion, a young, strong up-and-comer, he would have learned a lot from those rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he took a lot from it. They had a good chat afterwards, and you know, Mundine, a lot of people put him down, but Mundine is really good with the young kids out there, and he's a good person to look up to.
But March 13th, Zarafa Mundine, Neeks versus O'Connell, Caparello versus Chevalier. It's going to be a great fight card.
Yeah, I think it will be a great fight card. I mean, I have no doubt that my fight's going to steal the show, because it always does. But yeah, no, I think me and Neek's going to put on a great show.
That fight is going to be on Epicenter as well via Mundine TV and Zarafa TV.
And you had an interesting interview last week. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, I did. Shane Mosley Jr, the Sugar Man, a finalist in the Contender Series that was relaunched in America. Got him a lot of exposure. He did very well. And he had a fight just recently against Olivas and just looked, you know, from strength to strength. He's actually named a couple of fighters that could be on the Australian radar.
And who are they?
Michael Zarafa, Jeff Horn, and possibly Tim Tszyu.
Oh, wow. Wow. Take Jeff out of that, but wow.
Shane Mosley Jr, the Sugar Man, this is what he had to say.
Sugar Man, Shane Mosley Jr. There he is, after a big 7th round stoppage against Olivas. That eye looked really good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I did some work on that eye, so it was good.
Now, we haven't seen you since we're over here for Pacquiao v. Horn. You fought David Toussaint. Since then, a lot's been happening. Bring the Australians into your world, man. What's been going on?
Oh, man, a lot's happened since then. I was on the Contender Series, the reboot of the Contender Series, and I was a finalist on that show. Since the Contender, I've had 4 fights, 2 just kind of independent, and then 2 with Golden Boy.
Are you looking really good? A finalist in the Contender. That was a tough series. Talk to us about that.
It was really good. I think that I handled myself well. So I think I surprised a lot of people.
It was well televised. You got a lot of attention. How'd that make you feel?
It gave me my own name. I think, you know, with that, no, I didn't have a title or I didn't win the show or anything like that, but I was a finalist in the show, and a lot of people got to see me, and a lot of people got to see my passion, and that gave me some vidility. You know what I mean? It gave me like, oh man, he really is this, and we see him for him now, not just his father.
You must have had to do a lot of inner work, because we saw you go through a period there when you had those 2 losses where it looked like the Sugar Man had to find himself again, realize that passion, get that fire burning, and you look a much stronger fighter now. What did you learn about yourself?
Man, I've grown up. I'm 30 years old now. I'm
still
30
looking
years
good.
old now. Thank you. But yeah, I honestly think that that's really what it is. You know, like I tell people all the time, you know, you bring everything that you are as a man into that ring. So the more and more you grow as a man, the more and more you grow as a person, not just in the boxing ring, but as a whole, right? You know what I mean? Whether that be mentally stronger or mentally confident or body language or whatever the case is, right? You bring it all in the ring.
You looked sharp in that ring. Obviously, not quickly, but still you went out there, you had a job to do, and you reassessed that new game plan on a short term, and you came out there and you handled that well. That went down with it. Like, that was sharp.
Thank you.
Who's next?
hopefully we get something soon. You know what I mean? I want to fight as soon as possible. You know what I mean? And if I can make that happen, and if if my team can make that happen, the better.
Bring the Australians into your life. Who's in your corner? Who's looking after things?
I have found an incredible coach with Bones Adams, and I feel someone that I want to stay with. When he talked to me about training me, he literally said, "Hey, come out to Las Vegas. I'll make you a world champion."
Who's someone that's on the target radar that, even if it doesn't happen, that's someone that you'd love to fight?
I mean, I would love to fight like guys like Triple G, you know what I mean? Like Canelo, the Jamal Charles. I mean, like, that's why we're in the sport, right? You know what I mean? Like, to fight like those fights. So it's like, who do I want to fight? I mean, those guys, right?
No immediate plans for coming back to Australia, but would that be something that you'd want to do in the future if you could travel?
I've been out there before. I loved it. You guys have treated me well. You particularly have treated me very well when I was there, and it's much appreciated. And yeah, absolutely, man. Like I love Australia, so I would love to fight out there again, or I would love to have one of the Aussies come out to the States and fight me as well. You know what I mean?
That'd be great.
Zarafa has fought out here. I'd fight Jeff Horn if he wanted to. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, whoever, you know what I mean? Like,
you'd be looking at your Zarafas, you'd be looking at your Tim Tszyu. Jeff Horn looks like he's going to retire at the moment, but they could be, great fights, really great fights, and stuff that we'd really love to see. We'll stay in touch, and I'll talk to you again in probably like a month, yeah?
Yeah, brother.
Exciting developments in the welterweight division. Stevie Sparks is moving up.
That's going to make for very interesting developments. It's a lot going on in that division. It's stacked. We've got, obviously, the Andrew Hunt and Ben Kite fight, Jack Brubaker. There's a lot going on with the welterweights. Cameron Hammond's in there. It's a pretty interesting little division.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some exciting fights there, especially for Stevie Sparks. He's an exciting fighter, so there's some good fights to be made.
Well, we're going to stay tuned, and Stevie Sparks moving up, struggling to get fights in the division that he was in, but yeah, he's going to be very strong at welterweight.
Another exciting fight this weekend, Beck Hawker and Amanda Klein. Amanda Klein has come from, I think, either league or global, so she's had fights, and I guess if you look at it in a pro boxing way, their style of fight is more your pro boxing style than the Queensland Amateur Association. I don't know much about Amanda. I've been doing a lot of rounds. I think we worked out the other day, we've done about 65 rounds this prep with Beck, and they're always good, hard rounds. I know that if I don't switch on when I'm with Beck, that I'm in for a battle.
So the reason why we don't have Joel on the couch today?
Yeah, he's been down sparring Tim Tszyu. Personally, I think I would think that the best sparring for Tim would be Joel, like leading up to a fight with Dennis. They've got a similar sort of awkward lunge forward kind of a style, and I think they would have been good rounds.
Team Tszyu too, looking after Joel, and for the Camako Carpool, he's ended up getting Tim Tszyu in the car.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that'll be interesting to see what Tim sort of has to say away from boxing.
Expect the unexpected. See, when Tim's not boxing, he's driving cars. Loves his cars. That's what we do, bro. Loves his cars. Do a wheelie.
Do a wheelie.
Do a wheelie.
I don't think these cars do wheelies. Oh, damn. Far out. This is awkward, isn't it? Bro, my car's broken down.
Okay,
This is horrible.
This is not good. This is on camera too. Got it! We're back! We're back! There we go. That's a good start to the show.
Oh God, that made me nervous. I just started sweating.
Were you more nervous when you stalled the car or when you fought me, bro?
What do you mean? That was hard at work, bro.
100 hard work, for sure.
It was the worst time to stop Bondi Beach in front of everyone.
Yeah. Shout out to Glenn Jennings for getting your Mustang and your contract.
Yeah. Thank you, Glenn.
Glenn, you're not just a nice mustache, mate. You're a good bloke too.
And he knows his cars.
Yeah, he does. But are you good with cars, like mechanics and shit?
No, I don't.
Nah?
Never
You just like cars, like... Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like cars.
I'm the worst, bro, I swear. Like,
What, with cars?
yeah, like...
You don't have no idea.
If I can fill up a tank...
You know your Masters.
No, bro, I don't.
You don't even know your Masters. Thanks, mate.
What a good
You're a
bloke.
legend.
He must have known you were Tim Tszyu, bro.
You know, you saw Joel Camilleri.
So you had 5 years off in the amateurs, yeah?
No, a bit less, man. Maybe I think it was 4 years.
Why'd you have it off for?
I guess I just lost a bit of passion, and then I had a few injuries, and wanted to do something else with my life.
You studied for a bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I studied. It didn't work out for me. It wasn't much of mine.
And then you returned to boxing. Why'd you return for?
No, I came back into the gym and I started running the gym a bit. And then just being in that boxing environment, man, switches you back on. And I was sparring boys, and I was just like, man, I'm not getting hit.
Yeah.
And I'm able to like put it on them. So why not
Make a return on that.
have a crack in the amateurs, back into the amateurs?
Yeah, but then when you
I
return,
didn't even think about pros first, man.
Yeah, but when you return, how many fights do you have before you turn pro?
Two amateurs.
Kelly reckons there was a story before you behind you turning pro. He said you're watching a movie or some shit.
Bro, I was watching Creed.
Yeah, Creed.
In the cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching Creed in the cinemas, and I was like, I can relate to a lot of this in my life. So, you know what?
Because Creed's dad was a boxer.
I had a fire lit before.
Yeah.
All it needed was to be lit again.
Who was your hardest opponent? And why? And why?
I'm gonna say Dwight Ritchie was a hard fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Just for the fact that I remember going back into like round 5, and I was like, man, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm really tired.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've got another 5 rounds of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I had to dig deep. That was probably my hardest mentally to get through.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Trickiest would have been you and Wade Ryan. You and Wade Ryan were my trickiest fights, and hardest fights actually.
Yeah, yeah. Who wins in the argument, Boris or Igor? Peace.
Oh, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
You got 2 alpha males.
Who is it? You have to choose one of them.
No comment.
No comment?
I say no comment.
Did you feel extra pressure when you turned pro, like because of your surname and that?
No, bro.
You didn't feel it?
I don't feel pressure at all.
Yeah.
Nothing's given in boxing.
Yeah.
You've got to earn your respect in boxing. There's no such thing as handing things over in boxing, you know? So you got to go out there and take them. You know, fortunately for myself, I was handed an opportunity more better than most people.
It benefits you having your surname to promote yourself, but
you can do 2 things with it. You can do 2 things with it. You can take it and stuff it up.
Yeah,
or you can take it and do something with it, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm capitalising on everything that I can do with it.
Didn't you move to Russia for a bit?
Yeah. Well, we moved there when we were 2008. We moved there as a family.
Oh, okay.
We stayed there for a year. Man, it was completely different. It was just a weird life. It was sort of like a rich and famous type life.
Yeah.
Which we hated completely.
Yeah.
We couldn't stand it. We came here, and the fact that we were able to catch a bus with our friends was something that we wanted more.
So your dad's name in Russia is like much bigger than his name in Australia,
Oh man, imagine David Beckham.
How you going, guys? Joel Camako Camilleri here.
I can't do it,
Come
bro.
on, just say it.
I've actually been practicing it.
Yeah? Alright, let's see how good you are.
How
Ready?
you doing, Joel Camako Camilleri?
Say Camako Camilleri here.
Camako Camilleri.
Alright. How you going, guys? Joel Camako Camilleri here.
How you going, Joel Camako Camilleri? Is it alright?
From my opponent to my chauffeur. Thanks, Timmy boy.
No worries, man. Make sure you give me 5 stars.
5 stars? 100%. Just want to say a big thank you to Tim Tszyu for not only dropping me home, but also for jumping on Camako Carpool. Tim will be fighting March 31st in Newcastle against Dennis Hogan. It's going to be a great fight, so make sure you tune in. Peace.
So much to talk about on the show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rob Scheif, and you're watching Before the Fight.